microphone to Sheikh Dr. Ma'ad. I actually, now that we're here, and we're happy that you guys are all here, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome everybody. First things first, inshallah, I wanted to kind of mention to you guys about Conscious Connections. Conscious Connections is an effort that we are making here at Miriam Islamic Center for the young professionals, and the age category that we have decided for the young professionals is between the ages of 18 and 40. Now these programs are specifically targeted for that age group. That doesn't mean that anybody post 40 cannot attend. Everybody is more than welcome to attend, and we're more than honored to host all of you here today with us. So bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, this Conscious Connections is going to be focusing on 3 different types of events. Number 1, we are going to have events that are strictly going to be Islamic knowledge. For example, this event is going to be one of those events. Another group of events, another set of events that we are focusing on is going to be social events. And social events will be basically where we have different, for example, for women's socials, and we have men's socials, right? We have hiking and so on and so forth, all these kinds of indoor and outdoor activities that are going to be gender-based. And then the last is going to be a professional networking event. Now, this networking event that we are planning, by the way, is going to be in partnership with all of the young professionals organizations all across Houston. And inshallah, what we're aiming to do is we're aiming to bring in as many recruiters in the professional field as possible to the masjid, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, where all these professionals are going to be here at the masjid. They can do their recruiting, and everybody else who are the rest of the attendees can have networking and so on and so forth. So all of these events, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, they are all going to fall under Conscious Connections. So bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, we're hoping that you guys are going to look forward to it. At the end of the session, inshallah, after the Sheikh shares the website, we're also going to share with you guys a QR code which will take you guys to a form where you guys are going to check in, and you guys are going to tell us about what you are looking for from this initiative. What you are going to look for from this initiative. Now you can fill this form in afterwards, it doesn't matter, but I would highly encourage that all of you, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, fill in this form, scan the QR code that will be posted on the inshallah, the projector, and then inshallah you guys can fill in the form, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So without further delay, inshallah, I would like to first pin this microphone to the Sheikh and then give him over the microphone. Barakallahu feekum, Sheikh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Thank you so much for coming. It's on.
Will I take it home with you?
Inshallah.
Think he's going to take it?
Want it to table?
He's going to bring it to the table.
You're going to sit? No?
He's going to bring it too. How am I supposed to sit here?
I'm going to move the chair back. If you're going to sit down.
الله لطيف بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أمسينا وأمسى الملك لله والحمد لله لا شريك له لا إله إلا هو إليه النشور. أمسينا على فطرة الإسلام وكلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين. اللهم أمسينا منك في نعمة وعافية وستر، فأتم علينا نعمتك وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم ما أمسى بنا من نعمة أو بأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك، فلك الحمد ولك الشكر. يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. رضينا بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم نبيا ورسولا. أحبتي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. طبتم وطاب ممشاكم وتبوأتم من الجنة منزلا بإذن الله ثم أما بعد. As you see, our topic for tonight is Islamic Finance 101. Before we go through details, as I said in the khutbah today, for those who attended the khutbah to Jum'ah, was the khatib, said that we'll be touching on different contemporary issues like cryptocurrency and life insurance and home mortgage and retirement account and student loans, and the list actually goes on and on. Before we discuss all these details and pass a fatwa on a certain cryptocurrency or a certain portfolio in the stock market, retirement account, we need to build some base, some foundation, based on what we say that this particular transaction is not halal, while this one actually is halal, while this one is in between. So we need to build that foundation, have like a very solid fiqh background, and based on it, we will be having enough knowledge to pass a fatwa on different contemporary transactions. As you see in the slide here, it's Islamic Finance 101. So how many components we have in this subject? Islamic Finance and 101. Let's break it down to three different sub-subjects here. The first one is, as you see, finance. When you hear the term finance, regardless of what kind of finance, whether it is the communist one or the capitalist one or the Islamic one, just like industry-wise, what does finance mean? In every single society, we do have certain number of individuals, males and females, who do have extra money, who do not want to keep that money without making profit out of it. So they want to invest their money some way, somehow. Now, on the other side, there are certain individuals or companies or entities or agencies who are looking for fund, looking for money, either to purchase homes or to establish a business or to upgrade their business or whatever project they might have in mind. And there is a third party, someone who is sitting in between, right? The intermediator, the one who brings all pieces together, the one who communicates with the investors, getting their money. Likewise, the one who is distributing that money and giving it for those who are looking for fund. Very simple concept. In a very technical term, we call the first component the fund mobilization, collecting money from those who have extra fund, who want to invest that money and make money out of it. Now, the second component is the fund utilization. Those who are looking for fund to spend that money for purchasing homes or whatever. And the intermediator, or the third party, the one who does the job and brings all pieces together. Should I?
No. You want to put in front?
Yeah. The one who does the job and bring the two different parties together. Okay. Is the finance entity, whether a bank or a mortgage company or investment company, whatever. That is the fund intermediation. Now this is, as I said, this is regardless of what kind of system you are talking about. Is it the Islamic one or the man-made one? It doesn't make. I'm talking about finance from an industrial perspective. Now, when you add to the term finance, when you add another term by saying Islamic finance, that's even more specific, talking about a certain kind of system, because the Islamic finance is a derivative of the Islamic law itself. We have a Sharia, we have Islamic law. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set rules and regulations for peace and for war and for Muslim family, issues, and for marriage and for divorce and for transaction and so on and so forth. One of those systems actually is the Islamic economics and finance system. When you say Islamic finance, it means that a kind of finance system that abides by the Islamic principles. What are the guidelines that the Quran and the Sunnah set for us? As you see here in the slide, there is something called Sheikh, can you bring this one like closer to me or as close as possible so I can see the... Yeah. Oh, that's great. As you see here, transparency and integrity. That's excellent. Thank you. As you see here, transparency and integrity in the Islamic finance system. When you get involved in any business, whether you are the funder, like the financier, or you are the one who is receiving the money, or you are the one who is intermediating, you have to keep the highest level of transparency and integrity. Every single individual from day one has to know what is he paying, what he or she will be getting in return, who is taking the risk, how about the principal, how about the profit, is it a percentage, is it a lump sum, who is doing what if someone in the middle of that like transaction or partnership passed away, or he wants just to quit the job, what will be next, right? All these details actually have to be incorporated in the agreement. So there is nothing called jahala or gharar, like misrepresentation, ambiguity. I do not know. I mean this. I have meant that. This is actually something that does not exist in the Islamic finance system. Ethics and values, in a sense, that any kind of business, right, regardless of its profitability and feasibility, even if it is like very, very profitable, as long as that business is in a clear contradiction with the ethics and the values of the society, then this is actually out of discussion. You cannot get involved in anything related to winery or gambling or adult entertainment or anything that's absolutely haram. I mean, you have to stay away from it. You cannot get involved, neither to be the financier or the recipient or the intermediator in between. Commoditization and asset-backed means that you need to get involved in something that makes sense, that adds certain value to the society. When you get involved in Islamic finance practice, you need to produce something that benefits yourself and benefit the society at large. All those like semi-gambling businesses that people do in the stock market nowadays have nothing to do with Islamic finance. Maybe you have heard about futures and derivatives and CDS and CDO and what else, al-mushtaqat al-maliyya. All these like nonsense financial instruments are not a part of the Islamic finance. You have to stay away from anything that does not make any sense, that does not produce any value or add any value to the society. If you decide one day to go to the stock market, you need to invest in stocks only, no bonds, no derivatives, no futures, no nothing. And those stocks have to belong to companies where their core business is a halal one. They buy, they sell, they trade, they commission, they produce something that is beneficial to the society. Make no mistake about it that the ban of riba or interest is one of the main characteristics of the Islamic finance system. And before we go further, believe it or not, the prohibition of interest is not something like brand new that came through Islam or came through the Prophet ﷺ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who have told us that He has prohibited the Jewish community from dealing with interest. When He was criticizing like certain group of Jews in the past, He said subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَأَخْذِهِمُ الرِّبَا وَقَدْ Yusuf Murtaza, وَأَخْذِهِمُ الرِّبَا وَقَدْ نُهُوا عَنْهُ. Right? They used to trade and transact with interest while they were prohibited from doing so. I mean, what else? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran is the one who have told us that riba was prohibited for the Jewish community in the past. Yes, we do have a big question mark when it comes to the authenticity of the Bible, but forget about this issue and just grab any copy, any edition of the Bible and open it. You will see like a lot of verses either by the disciples, al-Hawariyin alayhim salatu wassalam, or by Isa alayhi salatu wassalam himself, prohibiting their community from dealing with interest. So we are not coming up with something new, right? Riba was prohibited in Judaism. Riba was prohibited in Christianity. Riba is prohibited in Islam and will continue being prohibited until the day of judgment. If you feel more comfortable calling this system that we're discussing tonight as a Jewish finance system or a Christian finance system, you are absolutely correct. So that is Islamic finance. That is Islamic finance. Why I'm calling this presentation 101? Because the goal of this presentation is not honestly to like to dig in depth and to discuss details. Okay, let's say for example, if we concluded tonight that the traditional mortgage in the USA is not a Sharia compliant one. What is the Islamic alternative? What is the status of those so-called Islamic mortgage companies? How about the murabaha of Devon Bank? How about the declining partnership of guidance? I mean, that's completely different discussion, right? This is not 101. This is maybe 400 or 500 level of Islamic finance. While this one actually is just Islamic finance 101. We are here just to unlock the secret of Islamic finance, to take home a very clear concept that Islamic finance is different from traditional finance system with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Maybe inshallah next time we'll discuss more details. So technical details about the mudaraba and the musharaka is not a part of our discussion. Islamic alternatives, okay, if lending is not a mode of finance, then what else we can do? I mean, this is again maybe 200 or 300 level Islamic finance. We all, as I said again in the khutbah today, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited riba, right? And if you attempt to educate yourself by just going to the traditional fiqh books, if you grab Umdat al-Salik or Uddat al-Nasik or Mughni ibn Qudama, right, or Bada' al-Sana' al-Kasani and read, you might get even more confused because you will be coming across several examples of riba that are absolutely authentic and correct, do not get me wrong. But the problem is that they are very outdated. They do not apply, they are not relevant to our society. Exchanging barley for wheat or rice for sugar or orange for different quality of orange or apple for orange. All these examples actually are different kinds of riba. Okay? And you will come across big terms, riba al-fadl, riba al-nasa, riba al-nasi'a, riba al-jahiliya, riba al-ta'am, riba al-nuqud. And the more that you read, you will be getting confused. Right? Those examples, or the majority of them, do not belong to our society. Okay? We do not exchange barley for wheat nowadays. If you want to get some barley or wheat, you just grab your iPhone and you make an order online. Within just 2 or 3 hours, you will find the order dropped by your front door. Okay? Use your debit card, your credit card, sometimes use even cryptocurrency, right, to purchase whatever you want. So all these examples are absolutely correct, and they still apply maybe in different societies, but not for Muslims living in the USA in 2024. The very agreed upon and the most severe level or category of riba is this one that I want you to memorize by heart tonight, right? It is the premium. So from now on, when I say riba, I mean the premium that has to be paid by the borrower to the lender, along with the principal amount, right? Either as a condition for the loan or for the extension and its maturity. I want you to forget about the extension of its maturity. Just, focus on as a condition for the loan. Premium must be paid by the borrower to the lender, along with the principal amount as a condition for the loan. What does that mean? How many categories of money we have here in this definition? We have principal and we have premium. Is that correct? Principal as opposed to premium. How many parties we have here? We have two. We have a borrower and we have a lender, right? Let me just pause here. Is there any indication of partnership between the two? Absolutely, there is no partnership. There is a borrower and there is a lender. And the borrower actually is the one who is taking full responsibility, taking all the risk involved in taking money. Okay? You walk to Bank of America or to Capital One or to Chase, you apply for $100,000 investment loan, business loan, individual loan, personal loan, student loan, whatever. If your application is approved, you will be getting $100,000 with 5% APR. APR stands for annual percentage rate. Annual percentage rate. Okay, very simple. If you decide to keep that money for one complete year, then the bank actually is expecting you to pay 105. Is that correct? If you keep that money, using that money for 10 years, then you have to pay them back how much? 150, right? Once you take that money, you are absolutely by your own. You take that money, okay, you shred the money, you throw it away, you donate it, you put it in the masjid, you make a business, in that business you make a profit, you break even, you incur loss, you go bankrupt, the bank absolutely in a positive way does not care about you. So the bank actually is putting all the risk and the liability on you. Bank is just sitting and relaxing like this, waiting for you to come within 1 year to pay the principal and the premium, right? Now, the principal and the premium. Maybe you started like sensing from now why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is prohibiting interest. I'll inshallah be discussing it. But again, from now on, whenever I say riba, I'm referring actually to this particular level of riba. In the Quran, whenever riba is mentioned, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha wa dharu ma baqiya min al-riba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to riba and nasiya. This level of riba, as I said, is the most severe one, is the most prohibited one, is the level that is agreed upon its prohibition. Whether you follow the Hanafi madhab or the Maliki or the Shafi'i or madhab al-Hadith, it does not make any difference. This kind of riba is riba al-Jahili, right? This is the one that was prevailing before Islam and even after the prophethood of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, but before the permanent prohibition of interest. Abdullah ibn Abbas reported, for example, كان الرجل يقرض الرجل فإذا جاء الأجل قال أمهلني وأزيدك. People used to lend to one another, right? Interest-free loan, believe it or not. And upon the maturity of the loan, whenever the loan is due, the borrower would approach the lender by saying, listen, I know that the loan is due, I don't have money. Would it be possible to give me more time and I will pay you more money? So the riba actually was introduced toward the end of toward the maturity of the loan, yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited it. How about if the riba is stipulated from the beginning? Well, it's even more and more prohibited. So again, remember this definition, the premium that must be paid by the borrower to the lender along with the principal amount as a condition for the loan. As a condition for the loan means that, again, back of America, you applied for a loan and then the loan officer told you that, okay, you are approved for 5% APR. That's the interest. If you say, just for discussion purposes, if you say, well, I'm a practicing Muslim, I cannot pay interest, right? What kind of answer you will be receiving? Well, you are in the wrong place. You are not a charity organization here, right? You go to your masjid and just ask for an interest-free loan. We are here making business. If you want to take the money, then you have to commit, before taking the money, you have to commit to paying the principal and the premium on top of it. You take it or you leave it. So this is actually what I mean by as a condition for the loan. So riba here actually is unavoidable. Okay? Without agreeing to paying the interest, okay, you cannot proceed with that application. In a very technical term, we call this kind of finance or funding, we call it the risk-shifting finance. Risk-shifting in a sense that the bank is just shifting all the risk and putting it on your shoulder. You are absolutely by your own. The bank does not care about you. So there is no partnership. Okay? As I said, you make profit, you incur loss, you break even, you go bankrupt, you pass away, you pass out, do whatever you want. Bank does not care about you. You took $100,000 for 5% APR for 3 years, it has to be paid back $115,000, period. Otherwise, the bank can go after you in the court and enforce you, actually even going after your property to get its money back. So this actually indicates clearly that there is no partnership and there is no risk is taken, any kind of risk other than the default risk. Default risk actually is a common one. Even if you borrow money from your Muslim brother, like interest-free loan, always the default risk is there. Like that borrower, that Muslim borrower, might pass away, might deny the loan, might go bankrupt, might procrastinate. I'm not talking about this risk. I'm talking about the outcome result of the money. Profit, loss, breaking even. Bank does not care about it, and the bank is not taking any kind of liability. And this actually indicates clearly how much financial exploitation riba actually causes. When someone is having a lot of money, doing nothing, okay, taking no risk whatsoever, taking advantage of the needy individuals in the society, or asking for money, okay, giving them money for a certain premium, okay, no risk, no liability, nothing whatsoever. This is actually why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited riba, as I will be explaining soon. Now, the challenge that we face in this society, in my very humble experience here, is that we read in the traditional fiqh book something, right? And we come across in the real life, we come across something completely different, right? in the traditional fiqh books, we read riba al-fadl and riba al-nasan, riba al-jahiliyyah, all those like big terms, and we get confused. In the real life, you come across different charges. You either charge others or you get charged by others. You come across something called penalty, right? And when you read the penalty clause in the contract, you start like getting panic and sometimes even like scratching your head and asking a question: is this the riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited or not? Am I allowed to pay penalty clause or not? Right? So penalty, overdraft charge. Overdraft. Is it the riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited or not? We need to find out. So penalty, overdraft charge, late fees, like in any lease agreement that you sign, in any utility bill that you receive, it has a due date. Is that correct? If you pass the due date, okay, without paying, then you have to pay late fees. Is it riba or not? Well, we need to find out. So overdraft charge, late fees, dividend if you have any investment in the stock market, profit, commission, interest, cashback, fine, compensation, honorarium, service fees, equity, shares, and the list actually goes on and on. So there is a clear kind of like discrepancy between what we read in the traditional fiqh books and what we come across in the real life as Muslims living in this society here in 2024. So how to overcome this challenge? Well, we need to reinterpret. Okay, we need to unlock the secret of those contemporary transactions and find out. Very simple concept. Is it proven in this like entrepreneurship or this partnership or this enterprise or this partnership or this contract? Is it proven that someone is giving money to others while he or she is guaranteeing the principal, like by the contract itself, okay, by the law of the land, like he can go after you in the court and ask for the principal? Is it proven that someone is giving you money while the principal is guaranteed by the contract, and the profit on top of it is guaranteed? If the answer is yes, then that's it. Case dismissed, as they say. This is the riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited. Well, believe it or not, even if the profit is not guaranteed, but the principal is guaranteed, well, that's riba as well. Someone has a car dealership and you have $500,000, you want to invest that money, and the brother told you, listen, I'm the man when it comes to car dealership. I've been like in this business for the last 20 years. Give me the money, and guess what? I can guarantee your principal. Worst case scenario, if there is no profit, I promise, I'm your brother. Just give me the $500,000. I'll pay it back to you with no loss. Can you do that? No, you cannot, because if the principal is guaranteed, right? I mean, leave aside the profit. Even if the principal is guaranteed, that's the riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited. So our job is just to navigate through the system and scrutinize all these different contemporary transactions, asking for a very simple question: is it proven that someone is giving money to others without taking any liability or any risk? Okay, whether the profit and the principal both are guaranteed, or otherwise, even if the principal is guaranteed without guaranteeing the profit, that will be it. Case dismissed. I mean, this is the riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited. This actually should bring to our attention a very important fiqh maxim or qaida fiqhiyya, right? It goes: العبرة في العقود للمقاصد والمعاني لا للألفاظ والمباني. Okay, what matters in transact, what we care about to pass a fatwa that this is haram or halal, what matters in transactions is the essence and the reality, not the wording or the formality, right? If I'm to tell someone, okay, this phone, okay, is a gift for you, okay, take it, but you need to gift me back $100. It's not a gift, it's a sale agreement. So even if we change the name, right, and you just, call it a gift agreement, well, it is not. It is a sale agreement, because I'm giving you something, a commodity or something, for a certain amount of money. If you do not pay me back $100, then the no phone for you. So we do not care about the name, right, of those transactions. What we care about is the essence and the reality. So remember this qaida, this fiqh maxim: العبرة في العقود للمقاصد والمعاني لا للألفاظ والمباني. Okay, you might come across like several options with those so-called Islamic mortgage companies. Oh, we do murabaha, we do ijara, we do musharaka, we do. When you read the contract, it's obvious and clear that so-called Islamic mortgage company is not taking any liability, any responsibility, any risk whatsoever. What's the difference between the loan that you take from XYZ Islamic mortgage company and the loan that you take from Chase or from Capital One? There is no difference. Although they call it murabaha or musharaka or ijara or lease to own or declining partnership to impress the Muslim community, telling them, oh, we know how to do business, we are scholars, we do have approval, we do have fatwa. But the reality, actually, the contract that you read indicates nothing other than just to be an interest-bearing loan. It is the risk-shifting mode of finance. The mortgage company giving you the money, you are by your own. Maintenance, tax, insurance, appreciation, depreciation, you name it, foreclosure, eminent domain, natural disaster, you take care of your own house. Okay? And they go after you in the court if you do not pay the principal and the so-called profit on top of it. Well, this is the riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited, even if you call it murabaha or mushara. So again, we do not care about the names. Okay? We care about the actual, the reality, the essence and the reality of the transaction. Let's just take very few examples here as case studies, as a practice for us, right? To be able to pass a fatwa on certain transactions. Maybe by the end of this presentation, you will be able to judge or to pass a fatwa on different contemporary transactions. How about opening a saving account in a traditional bank? Opening a saving account. Is it halal? Is it haram? طيب, let me just put you on the spot. If you think that opening a saving account in Chase or Capital One is a halal option, raise your hand. Halal. طيب. If you think it is absolutely haram, raise your hand. طيب. Before we say it's halal or haram, let me give you this example. I do have $10,000 cash, okay, and Yusuf Murtaza told me I need to take a loan, $10,000, okay, and I will pay it back by the end of the year, by the end of 2024. Okay, upon an agreement between me and Yusuf, I gave him the money, $10,000, for 10% APR. So by the end of the year, he has to pay me how much? 11,000. So the principal is guaranteed, right? And the premium on top of it is guaranteed. Now, what he will be doing with the money, I don't care. What do you call this relationship between me and Yusuf? It's a straightforward interest-bearing loan. Am I correct? Okay. You know what? Let me just change my mind. Instead of giving the money to Yusuf, I just went to Bank of America and I opened a saving account. And based on the agreement, okay, from now till the end of the year, Bank of America will be paying me $11,000. So my $10,000 principal is guaranteed, and the premium on top of it is guaranteed. Is there any difference between the first scenario and the second one? There is no difference. So opening a saving account actually is none but an interest-bearing loan. We Muslims have our own way of interpreting, unlocking the secret of those transactions. When you go to Bank of America, they do not tell you, oh, listen, you are giving us a loan, and this loan, the principal is guaranteed, and the premium on top of it is guaranteed. They do not look at it this way. Just a saving account. From our perspective, when I give my money to the other party, right, and the other party is guaranteeing the principal and guaranteeing the premium on top of it, that's an interest-bearing loan. Someone might say, you want to tell me that you, the one who has $10,000 only, is giving a loan to Chase or to Capital One or to Bank of America who has billions of trillions of dollars? My answer actually is yes. It doesn't mean that the bank is in need for my money, but the nature of the agreement, remember, العبرة في العقود للمقاصد والمعاني لا للألفاظ والمباني. What matters in transaction is the essence and reality, not the wording or the form. I am giving my money, regardless who has more money and who has less. I'm giving my money to Bank of America. Bank of America is guaranteeing the principal and guaranteeing the premium on top of it. Well, there is no definition for this transaction other than to be just an interest-bearing loan. Another maybe very obvious example, which is the home mortgage. Okay, same question. If you think that the traditional home mortgage is a halal one, just raise your hand. Halal. طيب. If you think that traditional mortgage is a haram option, raise your hand. طيب. Let's just unlock the secret of home mortgage. When I finance my house with Countrywide, with Chase, whatever, how many transactions I'm getting involved in? There are 3 different simultaneous transactions. Let's just break it down. I want to purchase a house for $500,000, right? So I will be like signing a sale agreement with the landlord. So that's a sale agreement. Is that correct? And of course I do not have $500,000. So I go to Chase and apply for mortgage, for a loan. Upon the approval of my application, Chase would write a check or just ACH or Zelle or whatever on my behalf to the landlord. That $500,000 has to be paid back total $700,000 within the next 20 years. Within the next 20 years. Chase in this case, some people might mistakenly think that Chase is the owner of the house. Well, Chase is not the owner of the house. Chase actually is the lien holder. You are the owner, you are the victim, the customer. You are the owner from day one. You are the borrower and you are the owner of the house, right? And Chase actually, the lender or the financier, is the lien holder, right? Because actually Chase wants to guarantee his money. Okay, and Allah forbid something happened to you, they can just go after you or after the house and just redeem or get their property back, right? So there is a sale agreement where you purchase the house from the landlord. There is an interest-bearing loan where you borrow from Chase $500,000 and you pay it back $700,000. And there is a lien agreement or mortgage agreement. Well, we do not have any issue with the sale agreement. وَأَحَلَّ اللَّهُ الْبَيْعَ وَحَرَّمَ الرِّبَا. We do not have any issue even with the mortgage agreement, believe it or not, right? Is the lender allowed to ask for a collateral, for example? Someone approached me, wants to take like $100 loan from me, and I do not know that individual. Is it okay for me to ask for a collateral? Can I ask for your watch or your phone? I'm going to keep it with me as a collateral. Whenever you come back and pay me the $100, I will give you your property back. Is there anything wrong with that? There is nothing wrong with that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala toward the end of Surah Al-Baqarah indicated that عقد الرهن is mubah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِن كُنتُمْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ Yusuf Murtaza وَإِن كُنتُمْ عَلى سَفَرٍ وَلَمْ تَجِدُوا كَاتِبًا فَرِهَانٌ مَقْبُوضًا. Al-rihan actually is the mortgage, believe it or not. So we do not have any issue with the mortgage. We do not have any issue with the sale agreement. We do have a big concern when it comes to the interest-bearing loan. Now we ended up having 3 different segments in this deal: sale agreement, interest loan agreement with interest, and lien agreement. Can we say, okay, we have 2 halal against 1 haram? So let's be like so democratic and go with the majority. 2 halal against 1, so the whole deal will be halal. Does it go this way? It does not. Well, in the Islamic finance system, actually, it goes the other way around. It goes the other way around. If it is proven that one certain segment in any deal is an explicitly prohibited one, that will be more than enough to ruin the whole deal and to make it a haram. So to conclude, traditional home mortgage process is not a Sharia compliant one, period. Now, what is the alternative? That's not Islamic finance 101. Let's take some other examples here. Cashback. Do you think that cashback is halal or not? Again, for the 3rd time. If you think that cashback is halal, raise your hand. Cashback is haram, raise your hand. Some brothers and sisters did not raise their hands neither. Anyway. Right. So what does mean cashback? It means that you do have a credit card. And your credit card company actually offers you a promotion, right? If you use my credit card, like Chase credit card, for $100, I will be paying you $5 back. So every single $100 you purchase, you buy any item you want, I will pay you back $5. Now, let's try to understand it more. If I'm to give Sheikh Muhammad Faruqi $100 and ask him to pay me back $105, right? What do you call it? interest-bearing loan. Straightforward, right? طيب, if I'm to give the sheikh 100 and ask him to pay me back $100, no more and no less, what do you call it? Interest-free loan. If I'm to give him 100 and ask him to pay me back only 95, what do you call it? That's completely the opposite of riba. When you hold the credit card, you are the borrower and the credit card company is the lender. Am I correct? So you borrow from the credit card company $100, and because of the promotion, because of the cash back, the net amount that you pay is how much? 95. So you pay like you borrow 100 and you pay it back 95. That's completely the opposite of interest. Okay. The riba that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited, as the qaida goes, كل قرض جر نفعا للمقرض فهو ربا. كل قرض جر نفعا للمقرض فهو ربا. Each and every single loan that brings a stipulated benefit to the lender, not to the borrower, to the lender, will be counted as interest. In this very particular scenario, the one who is benefiting is whom? Is the borrower and not the lender. So you borrow 100 and you pay it back 95. And based on that, actually cash back is halal. I always say that if you do have cash back and you do not feel comfortable keeping the money, just give it to me, inshallah. I'll be more than happy to take it. Well, example actually go on owner finance with interest. Well, you know what? Let me just confuse you more here. Owner finance with interest. You want to purchase a house from your non-Muslim neighbor, John Smith. And John Smith is asking for $500,000 cash. And of course you do not have it. Okay, so you ask him a question, is it okay to finance for me? He said, yeah, sure. So he grabbed his calculator and did the math. He said, okay, if you want to pay it cash, it's going to be $500,000. If you want to finance, make an installment for 10 years, it's going to be $600,000. Okay? Just random numbers. $500,000 principal, $100,000 interest. And if you want to extend for 20 years, it's going to be $700,000. 500, $500,000 principal, $200,000 interest. So you were okay with the 10 years finance for $100,000, but you did not feel comfortable writing interest in the agreement. What if John Smith again insisted in writing $500,000 principal, $100,000 interest, and here is the agreement, you take it or you leave it? Can you sign that agreement? And if you sign it, are you committing riba? Are you committing riba? If the answer is yes, raise your hand. If this is not a riba based one and it is halal, although the term interest is there, raise your hand. Here's the situation. You know what? Let me confuse you even more and more. What if you decided to go to Bank of America and to borrow $500,000 to pay it to John Smith, right? And you pay Bank of America $600,000 within 10 years. Is it equivalent to do an owner finance or in-house finance with John Smith? No, they are not. If you go owner finance, okay, there is no loan to start with. There is no loan to start with. You are not borrowing money from John Smith. He has a property for $500,000, okay, cash, spot sale we call it, and the same commodity would be for $600,000 for 10 years in installment. Okay, in the Islamic finance system, this is one of the very few cases where time value is acknowledged. We call it taklifatul fursat al-badila, like the opportunity cost. In a sense that if John Smith decided to sell that house cash, spot sale, to somebody else, he would have been able to make $100,000 net profit from that money within the next 10 years. So you need to compensate him because actually he compromised that opportunity for you to make you happy. So you need to pay him the $100,000, the opportunity cost. So to answer the question, owner finance with interest, is it interest or not? No, it is not. If you go to Bank of America, you borrow $500,000, right? And you pay it to John Smith, and you pay Bank of America $600,000 within the next 10 years, that's absolutely riba because you borrowed money from Bank of America. But here, if it is an owner finance one, there is no loan to start with. It is just an installment sale, and it is absolutely acceptable to have two different prices for the same commodity based on the payment arrangement. The Islamic finance system actually goes with what's called the risk-sharing mode of finance. The Islamic finance system, it is agreed upon that loan is not a mode of finance. Loan is not a mode of finance. If I do have $100,000 cash, right, and someone is approaching me asking me for a loan, if I know that he wants that money, like to pay the rent for his house, or to do like a surgery, or to pay the tuition fees for his, like he's in desperate need to, for that money for consumption purposes, I'll be more than happy to give him that money, maybe for 2 weeks, maybe for 2 months, maybe for 1 year. But if I know for a fact that he's asking for my money to upgrade his business, is it a good idea for me to give him or her $100,000 as an interest-free loan? Because I'm a practicing Muslim like you all, and he's a practicing Muslim. So if I'm to give him a loan for $100,000, okay, they call it business loan. Is it a good option? Is it a good decision for me to give someone $100,000 cash to use that money for 1 or 2 years, right? To make money from my money, and then to come back to me after 2 years with $100,000 while he already made 20-30% with a big hug. Oh, Sheikh, Jazakallah khair, thank you. Here is your money back. Seriously, is this like a good business? Of course, it is not. If I know that he wants that money for business, I will never give him that money as a loan. We can sit down and just talk business. Okay, we can go with the mudaraba one. How about this one? You see here the top one? Mudaraba is just a trustee partnership. Mudaraba means two different parties. One of them actually is the laborer or the manager of the business, right? The one who has the expertise and the availability and the time and the skills and the certifications and you name it. And the other one actually has money. So we bring those two different resources together. I give my cash money to somebody else to invest. In this mode of finance, I cannot guarantee my profit. I cannot guarantee even my principal. Okay? Based on the mudaraba, on the trustee partnership, if there is an actual real net profit toward the end of the fiscal year, right? Or the business course, if there is any net profit, we'll share based on whatever we agree upon. It could be 50-50, it could be 20, 80, 70, 30, we do not have any limitation here. If there is no profit, I cannot go after him and ask for profit. Well, worst case scenario, if it is proven that there was no negligence, no like mismanagement, right? No embezzlement, like no shortcoming from his end, okay? Something, as they call it, like act of God, right? Something like, beyond his ability. He was unable to make a profit, and even the principal that I gave him was gone. Well, I cannot even go after him and ask for my principal. That's exactly what we mean by the risk sharing as opposed to the risk shifting one. Risk sharing actually is a pure Islamic one. Every single mode of finance, whether it is a mudaraba or a musharaka partnership, or a murabaha like cost plus, or the ijara lease to own, or the istisna manufacturing sale. Every single mode of finance in the Islamic finance system does have to have a certain amount of liability and risk that is shared between the two. The one who gives the money has to take a certain amount of liability and risk in order for him or her to justify the profit that he is asking for. This is actually based on the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Al-Kharaju bil-Daman, subhanallah. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Al-Kharaju bil-Daman. Profit follows liability. Simple as that. You want to make a profit? Ahlan wa sahlan. We would love to see you flourishing with your business, making money, but you need to do it in an ethical and a halal way. In the same way that you look forward to make a profit, you need to take the same amount of liability. If there is a profit, you'll get your profit. If there is a loss, you will be losing. That's the fundamental difference between the Islamic finance, the riba-free one, right, as opposed to the riba-based one. Sheikh, do we have to start Salat al-Isha at 9:30? We have to. So I need to skip some of the slides. Traditional versus Islamic. Okay. Here's an example. We have Muhammad and Abdullah, two different brothers, and they want to mortgage their homes. Muhammad decided to go with Bank of America, and Abdullah decided to go with an Islamic mortgage company. Just for discussion purposes, just imagine that we have a genuine, sound, authentic Islamic finance practice, which is not the case nowadays. It is not. I mean, let me just make it clear. There is nothing called pure, genuine, sound Islamic finance exists in this society with very, very few exceptions. Very few exceptions. Just for discussion purposes. Muhammad and Abdullah both were approved for $500,000. Muhammad actually went with Bank of America, borrowed $500,000, and Abdullah actually got involved, okay, with an Islamic mortgage company. Okay, Muhammad has to pay it $700,000 within the next 20 years, and Abdullah actually has to do the same. Someone is just passing by, okay, like does not have any idea of what's going on, would just ask a very innocent question. Okay, Muhammad borrowed $500,000 and he has to pay $700,000, and Abdullah did the same. What is the difference, right? What's the difference? Apparently, like if you zoom out and look at the outcome result of the two different scenarios, they are the same. $500,000 to be paid back how much? $700,000. That individual who is passing by does not know what's going on. Does not know that Muhammad actually is fully responsible for the maintenance, for the tax, for the insurance. Does not know that Bank of America can go after him in the court and ask for the principal in case of terminating the agreement. Does not know if there is an appreciation or depreciation. He is fully responsible for it and the bank does not care about him. Does not know that if there is a foreclosure or there is an eminent domain or there is a natural disaster, he's absolutely by his own. He doesn't know that, right? Abdullah, the one who went with the Islamic finance option, he got involved in something called declining partnership. Declining partnership. That's المشاركة المتناقصة المنتهية بالتمليك. He started with 5% equity. He paid out of pocket, okay, and purchased 5% equity of that house. And the Islamic mortgage company paid 95%. They become partners, and you can see their names, both of them, on the deed of trust. It's a legal, genuine, sound ownership. Because Abdullah actually wants to purchase that house, and he goes to declining partnership, right? He starts paying, like, for example, if the fair rental value of that property is $2,000, to keep it simple, the mortgage company, the Islamic one, would ask him to pay $2,500. $2,000 rent, because he will be occupying the property with his family members, right? And $500 to increase the equity. So he starts 5% as opposed to 95%. After 1 month, he becomes 6% owner, 94, 7%, 93, 8%, 92. All the way toward the end of the agreement, he kicks out that Islamic mortgage company. This is why we call it declining partnership. During that long-term agreement, partnership between the two, maintenance, of course, not wear and tear, like major maintenance issues. Maintenance, property tax, insurance is to be divided proportionally between the two different partners, between you as a customer and the Islamic mortgage company. After 10, 15 years, you decided to terminate the agreement. You put the house in the market, right? If there is any profit and you own 70%, you are entitled to put in your pocket 70% profit, and the mortgage company will be getting 30%. Well, worst case scenario, okay, there was like a recession, house industry collapse, whatever. The market value for your house went down significantly, and there was $100,000 loss, while you were owning 70%. You incur loss $70,000, and the Islamic mortgage company actually incurs $30,000. This is actually the genuine, the sound Islamic finance practice. That confusion is not something new, by the way. Okay? It was actually raised. It was actually raised during the revelation of the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who documented that confusion that some people have. ذلك بأنهم قالوا إنما البيع مثل الربا وأحل الله البيع وحرم الربا. Some people said that loan agreement is like a sale agreement, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited riba while He permitted the sale agreement. So again, it's not something new. We are just repeating, the same question, the same confusion, the same interpretation, misunderstanding that people a while ago actually had at that time. Moving on, why riba is prohibited? I'm not done yet. Why riba is prohibited? It's obvious, clear. Okay, whenever you implement riba in any society, okay, you open the floor for financial exploitation. You open the floor for financial exploitation. Someone is taking full advantage of those who are in need for money. Someone might say, well, like your non-Muslim friend, you go to the bank, you take $100,000 loan, right, for 5% APR. You make 20% profit. You pay the principal and 5% to the bank, and you keep 15% in your pocket. It's a win-win situation. Everybody is happy, right? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still prohibiting riba? That's a very good question. Well, this scenario, right, is not the only scenario that takes place in the real life. It does happen every now and then that you take $100,000, you do not make 100%. Wallahi, I mean what I say. You make 1,000% profit, 10,000% profit. I mean what I say. Where is the fairness? Where is the justice here? If you keep all that profit for yourself and you give the bank like just a fraction, 5%, where is the justice here? Now, the other opposite extreme scenario is that you borrow the money with no negligence, with no management from your end. Something happened beyond your ability. You lost everything, right? There was no taqsir or ta'addi or like mismanagement, nothing whatsoever. You lost everything. Is it fair enough for the bank to go after you in the court, asking for the principal and asking for the profit or for the APR on top of it? Absolutely, it's not fair. So our answer as Muslims, whenever you open the floor or whenever you allow interest to be implemented in any finance system, it brings a lot of financial exploitation and a lot of injustice and a lot of dhulm. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one in the Quran itself who indicated clearly that the main reason behind sending all the prophets and all the messengers and all the scriptures is to establish justice on earth. Toward the end of Surah Al-Hadid, he says subhanahu wa ta'ala, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ. We have already sent our messengers with the clear evidences. وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانِ. And we sent down with them the scripture and the balance. Al-Kitab wal-Mizan. As if someone is asking, Ya Allah, why you did all that? قَالَ لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. So people may maintain their affairs in justice. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants justice to be implemented, and the one who is incorporating riba in any finance system is the one who is bringing injustice. So he or she is standing against the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla prohibited riba. As I said in the beginning, we have a long way to go as a Muslim community, education-wise. We need to learn more about cryptocurrency, about student loans, retirement accounts, investing in the stock market, insurance, home mortgage, and banking. We need like more and more education. I'm here tonight to represent Guidance College. Sheikh, can you share the other website, the 3 or 4 websites? We do have actually masters in Islamic economics and finance for those who are interested to become like more professional and specialized in Islamic finance. Go to guidancecollege.org, MAEF, Masters, MA, Islamic economics and finance. Short-term solution, and instead of like going to the banks, we can syndicate, we can go with the crowdfunding, right? The main reason behind the failure, let's take for example the Islamic mortgage companies, the main reason behind their failure is that they are enslaved by Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, right? They are enslaved by the system. They have to show to their masters in the secondary market that this agreement actually is just a traditional mortgage one, right? I do not own, I do not take any liability, any responsibility, right? Here is the loan, here is the agreement, here is the loan, $700,000. I'm willing to sell it to you for $670, and they get their money back. And they turn their face next day in the morning to their Muslim clients by saying, oh, no, we are partners, we own the property, right? We are fully responsible with you. So they have to own and they have to lend at the same time. There is a severe incompatibility between the Islamic finance system and the traditional one. And you cannot wear 2 different hats at the same time. Now, the solution actually is to declare your independence. And instead of going to the secondary market and sell the contract to Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, you need to syndicate or to do what is called a crowdfunding. There is a brand new initiative called Bunyan.io. Sheikh Muhammad, can you help me? Write it down. Bunyan.io. By the way, I do Sharia compliance consultation. If you are interested, you can go to this website and just book a consultation. appointment with me. Go to guidancecollege.org and read more about the programs that we have. Please, before you leave, make sure that you take a brochure. It's not a pledge form, it's just a brochure. Just read more about different programs that we have at Guidance College. And here's my business card. So, Sharia compliance consultation. I do have some websites, Sheikh Muhammad. What is this one? Can I see it? Yeah. So, this is Bunyan.I. I'm a co-founder of this company and the Sharia consultant. This is actually a syndication, blockchain-based one. It's a fintech blockchain. Inshallah, with the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this company will not be a solution, no. Will be the solution with THE, the solution of the mortgage issue for Muslims in the USA. It's 100% Sharia compliant one. We use like software, we use to determine and find out the percentage of ownership and the maintenance and tax and the insurance. Okay, and it is a blockchain based one. So there is an ultimate transparency that every single transaction, whosoever buys or sells actually is documented and reported in the blockchain. Next one. What is this one? Can you read for me? What is this one? Alqudah actually is a Houston-based Islamic investment company. They do have business. They do like investment in the stock market, and I'm the Sharia consultant of this company. They are kind of like, I would say, conservative, like more than the average, but it's a good resource for you. They do have a free service. Like if you go to their website, there's a search bar. If you enter the code of the stock that you want to invest in, and just to click, the system will generate a report whether that one is a Sharia compliant or not. Next one, Sheikh. Zaki Financial is an Islamic investment company in the stock market. Maybe you can roll over your investment to that company. Again, I'm the Sharia consultant of this company. I found out after maybe 17 or 18 years working in the field of education, as a university professor, I found out that it is time actually to get involved more with the Muslim community. So teaching and just being, as they say, like the bad guy, oh, this is haram and this is riba. Maybe it's time to get more involved with the Muslim community, helping them, having hands-on work to help the Muslim community building their own Islamic institutes that are riba-free. And that's why, alhamdulillah, I'm shifting from academia to consultancy, and now, alhamdulillah, I'm becoming a co-founder of several companies who cover like several areas in the Islamic, between investment, between mortgage, between several things. So that is guidancecollege.org, and this is my my email. Like, as I said, please make sure that you have you take a brochure, read more about Guidance College, and here's my business card if you do have anything to discuss with me regarding Guidance College. Within those few, no? Oh, Fi Wallet actually is a new initiative for those who want to preserve the purchase power of their currency. Like if you have dollars, to stand against the inflation and to keep the power, like the purchase power of your money, I would highly recommend that you go with this company and open an account. Again, I'm the Sharia consultant of this company. This is a kind of passive investment. Okay, they do not take your money and invest it. No, they just convert your American dollars, okay, to gold. If you save your money for maybe 1 or 2 years, $10,000, and you decide to liquidate the account, you will be getting $11,000 or even $12,000 back, because gold, as you all know, has its own intrinsic value, so it does not lose its power, its value, as opposed to American dollars. Because of the severe inflation that we experience post COVID-19, it's highly recommended that you do not keep cash money with no investment. Right? Stock market is not stable enough, so gold wallet actually is the trend nowadays. Gold wallet is the trend, and this is actually a Sharia compliant one. They do not give you a gold certificate, no. Okay, they give you, they purchase actual, real, 100% pure gold, like 24 karat. And again, I'm the Sharia consultant. I did inspect the system, and I bear witness. I attest that this is a Sharia compliant one. They know very well how to handle your money and how to purchase actual, real gold. I think we are running out of time. I'm not sure if you have any time for questions or after Isha. طيب, the Sheikh is saying that after Isha, inshallah, I'll be coming back here, inshallah, for a question and answer. Jazakumullah. Take this one. Alaikum salam.
Doctor,
Yes, sir.
I have your, you